Well, this morning, a special event in the Midlands is set to honor the men and women who serve and protect our communities every single day. The Range Fore Hope Foundation is hosting its Heroes Unite event, a family-friendly celebration dedicated to recognizing local first responders and military personnel for their service and sacrifice. Organizers say the event is about more than just saying thank you. It's about bringing the community together through food, entertainment, resources, and a special award ceremony honoring those who go above and beyond. Joining us this morning is Range Fore Hope Foundation founder Alan King to talk about why this event matters and what's so special about it. So first off, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Absolutely, thanks for having us.
So tell me about the event that's happening this Saturday. What can people expect?
Well, it's the end of the month, Saturday,
Yes,
May 30th.
yes.
Yeah. I was like, this Saturday, I'm not ready.
Right.
No, Heroes Unite is an event we came up with last year. And the goal was to kind of really have this community resource event where we can provide programs, resources, and services direct to the community. And, with a culmination of like that honoree award ceremony. And so we recognize 10 local community heroes, 5 first responders, and 5 in the military community. And the thought was, there's not a lot of people who get recognized or want recognition for that matter for doing their job well.
Absolutely. And you chose first responders and military personnel. Why was it important for you to focus on them?
I think, service is service, at the end of the day. And so, as a veteran myself, I served 20 years in the military. So a lot of people are always like hyper focused sometimes on like veteran, military. But we have heroes that are here every day doing things within our own community here, in South Carolina, throughout the nation. And so first responders sometimes, not that I say get overlooked, but, there's not as much as a big thing for first responders.
Absolutely. And the theme, Heroes Unite. What do you want people to take back from that message? Like, what message are you trying to send with this theme?
I think, just as it says, like unite, bringing people together. Really, the thought is like it's not separate but equal. It's just everybody together. And so for us, our main theme, with the foundation is rebuilding community. And, that's kind of one of our staples that we go with.
And talk to us about the Heroes Award ceremony. What is that? How does that work exactly?
So we're going through the selection process now. We're still accepting applications. So if people wanted to, still send somebody in, you can either do it at info@rangeforehope.org or you go to our website, rangeforehope.org, and still hit, nominations. I think we're accepting them through the end of this week. But the ceremony itself would be, we'll come up and we'll talk, and everybody will send in a brief bio, and then we'll kind of just, go through what they've done to kind of be recognized. And then, we welcome them and their families out there. We try to host them and do all that kind of stuff.
Absolutely. And why is it important to create events like this here in Columbia?
There's so many other types of events, similar, but not as, all-encompassing. And so the thought was to kind of do all of this, to your point earlier, where you have food, you got a DJ out there, it's this fun family setting, almost like a block party kind of situation.
Yeah.
And then it ends with an award ceremony, where you're like just recognizing some people local in the community that, to me, a lot of those people who came and were recognized last year were people you could kind of walk by every day and didn't even realize the amazing things that they had done.
And you're connecting folks in the community with resources. Talk about that as well.
Yeah, no, the great part is, like I enjoyed like connecting people with not only resources but programs and services that are available out there. And so bringing out community partners that I partner with a lot throughout, the year and all the different events and things that we do. It's been a blessing to kind of really pass that on to you, because sometimes I may know a lot of people that you don't know. And I take that for granted. A lot of us take that for granted, where you're like, oh, it's just Tim and them or whatever. And so, you know what I'm saying? And so now you have to really connect people to those resources, because they may see you and be like, well, what do you do? You're like, oh, well, I work here and I do this. And like, wow, I never knew that about you.
Absolutely. And why do you feel that it's important to include those folks in the community to those resources? How vital has it been in the past?
Oh, it's great, because that is, as a foundation who uses the game of golf as therapy, everybody kind of pigeonholes us into like, you're the golf guys, the veterans who help veterans with golf. And I'm like, well, we do a little bit more. We connect people with resources. And it started from people coming to clinics and saying, oh, well, my car is breaking down, or I'm losing my job, or I'm X, Y, Z. And you're like, oh, wow, like I know somebody who may be able to help you. And so just starting in that space, and then it kind of just exponentially grew into something that now, we're actually a connective tissue where we're really putting people together, connecting them with programs, resources, and services.
That's so amazing. And I actually wanted to ask, like, if you could name some of the resources that you guys have used in the past.
Oh, of course, yeah. Like, so we have, if you think about from the federal level, we have the VA will be out there, the state level, the South Carolina Department of Veterans Affairs for the veterans specifically, but then you have like Humana, Combined Insurance. We're blessed to have First Citizen Bank as the title sponsor. And so, now you go down the line and you start looking at the Workout Warrior Foundation, the Big Red Barn, all these other nonprofits that people would say is kind of taboo to have out there as a nonprofit because that's our event. But, we want to bring everybody out to the community and really bring that out. You have Blue Cross Blue Shield, Richland County Sheriff's Department was out there. The Celebrate Freedom Foundation was out there, and they bring out, which is the surprise for everybody, but they bring out an old attack helicopter.
Oh, wow.
And so, where we did it at the Meeting Place Church, one of their elders was like, Alvin, you said you was going to have an event here, but he said, I didn't realize you were going to put a helicopter in our parking lot.
Right.
You see
going above and beyond.
Yeah,
Absolutely. I love it.
And then we had Prism out there doing health screenings. So, it's just a lot of things going on. And so just having all those community resources, there's some activities for the kids. People set up, Richland School District 2 sets up some stuff and they do little activities. So there's a lot going on. And that was the point, like to have that variety of not just like veteran, first responder, like where people just like, oh, well, I already know what the American Legion does. I already know what the VFW does. And so like bringing out these other resources, people are like, oh, I didn't realize that y'all do stuff for us as well.
And what has been the feedback that you guys get when folks come to events like this and they see the amount of resources that are available, and all they have to do is just kind of network to get on board with them?
Yeah, no, it's great. And so, the fun part about these kind of events is that those teams always work through their marketing stuff. And so everybody comes and gets a swag bag and they're getting all these kind of trifold flyers and business cards. And so they're able to kind of really connect with people who do the job, where you like, I know somebody over there, but you're like, no, I know somebody. And let me call them. And that might not be their department, but they can kind of, put you in contact with some other people. So just getting people in those rooms, getting that foot in the door to really kind of, connect and understand what's available to them. Because a lot of people don't understand what's actually available, what they can access to, to themselves.
Absolutely. And you guys at the foundation, you give. For folks who are watching this morning, how can folks pour into you guys? How can they make sure you guys are thriving and keeping the organization around?
Well, we're blessed, and we have a lot of donors and sponsors, and we encourage people to go to the website. There's donate buttons on our website, Range Fore, Fore, hope.org. Come out and check out. Like I tell people, I challenge people to come out and check out what we do. We host, starting in April, going all the way through October, free golf lessons 5 days a week. And so there's a lot going on within our foundation, within our community, and we're just blessed to kind of continue to give back and support this local community.
Nice. And what does it mean to you personally to be able to give back and, see the first responders, you see the military, the veterans, and just to see the appreciation that they get when they see all that you guys have done for you personally? How does that make you feel?
Oh, it makes me feel great. I mean, it's humbling. A lot of people are like, oh, you do this or you do that, and they put a lot on me specifically, but it's the foundation. There's a lot. Obviously, there's an engine that drives the foundation, but there's a lot that goes on with this foundation. I can't do this by myself at all. There's so many amazing people that volunteer their time, that support us, financially with their, just even with their time. So, I mean, it's just way bigger than me. And so it's humbling to kind of like be a part of that and actually step back and look and be like, wow, this is, I had no idea that this is what my retirement would look like. 8 years into retirement, yeah. This is kind of wild to be like, this is what I do on a regular basis.
And firsthand, like, what a lot of these military folks kind of go through because you served as well, right?
Yes, sir.
So tell me, when you see folks who you were maybe years ago, do you see yourself in them at all?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's the funny part to me is like you see the different phases of, as they like to say, transition. Like as you did 20 years in the military, I did 20 years specifically, did multiple combat deployments. And then you see people, and I think that's what happens is people start to gravitate towards you because you're a like item. They're like, oh, well, and understand what I've been through and how I can do these things. And so you can kind of really push people up the roads that they're, that you've already traveled and say, hey, you can try to do this or ask these questions or go connect with these people. So it's been really cool to kind of see that part. Like, once again, I didn't expect for all of this to happen, over these 8 years. And even a year ago, I would have been like, man, I can't believe that we're doing this in 2 years, and so now I'm just curious to see what's next.
Absolutely. Well, do you have an idea of what's next?
I don't. I mean, we just keep listening and being obedient and being good stewards, and things will happen at the pace that they're supposed to happen.
Absolutely. And wrap with us again about the event. When is it? The time, location, all of the sort.
Okay, so it's Saturday, May 30th, from 11 to 2 at the Meeting Place Church parking lot. And so come out, join us. It's community. It's open to the community. It's free. There's no cost. There'll be stuff there to see, to do. DJ Kelly Kell will be on the mic, and so we'll have Sierra Artemis as our host. And so there's a lot that'll be going on, and so it's full of, the day for me is like a fun family day, and then we'll obviously end with a award ceremony to recognize some amazing people in the community. But come join us Saturday, May 30th, 11 to 2.
And one last thing, you did say about the award ceremony, folks can recommend people?
Or there's still.
How can they do that?
So if you go to the website, www.rangeforehope.org, or if you shoot us an email at info@rangeforehope.org, or you just reach out to me if you know me personally. But, either way, get that in. This is the final week for people to be nominated, and we're excited. So you can self-nominate, or somebody can nominate you. But it's we're looking for people in the military community, people in the first responder community, but not necessarily just those people. Like, we've had actually a sneak peek. There's some people who are not military specific or first responder specific personnel, but they do things so much in that community that people thought that was enough of them to recognize them.
And that's what I was gonna ask about the criteria. What all does that involve? Like, you just said it didn't have to be military, but kind of just do a deeper dive into what that criteria is like.
You think about just people being recognized for, a lot of people say, well, I'm just doing my job. And so, like last year, we had an amazing opportunity to recognize a young EMT who, did her job above and beyond. We had, a fire chief was standing right next to her, and then a patrolman, and so, like, you go down the line, there were so many different people, where on the military side we had a young lady who served 22 years and started her own foundation, and now is bent on bringing fitness to everybody in the world. And so but there's so many people who in these little pockets of society that people are like, oh, I didn't know that's what you do, or that was your background, or that was your history. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. So we want to recognize everybody. So if you are watching this morning, go ahead and nominate those folks who you think are doing a splendid job in the community. Well, I definitely appreciate you for joining us this morning. And obviously, we're going to place this interview on our website, WLTX.com. We'll be right back.